would like to make 3 comments about it, and keep this in mind. Number 1, the occurrence of a general sign does not necessarily mean that his appearance is imminent. And this is where we have to realize that, we should not just jump onto the conclusion when we see extraordinary signs that the zuhur is imminent. The second point, pandemics such as, coronavirus are not something new in human history. This has happened in past, in different parts of the world. These days we have this global media, so we know what's going on. Many times, it would happen in one part of the world, the other part wouldn't even know about it. But if you study history, you will come to realize that even in holy places, in Iran, in Iraq, in Hijaz, pandemics have taken place to an extent that the masajid were closed there, and even the Jamaat prayers were suspended. So what we see is happening now is not something, unprecedented and new. We don't know much about history, but if you go and study, you will see in many places of the Muslim areas, these pandemics have happened earlier. And the third point, if you really look at the number of deaths at the moment from COVID-19, it comes to around 75,000 people globally. But look at the 2018 report of UNICEF, and you will see that approximately 1.3 million children die from undernutrition every year. And so, put this issue in proper perspective. Do not jump to the conclusion that this is the sign of the imminent zuhur of the Imam, Ajjalallahu ta'ala faraju sharif. Let me now move on to the specific signs of the zuhur of the Imam. The first one, a voice would be heard from the sky. This will be Angel Jibreel making the announcement, and this will happen in the month of Ramadan. And the announcement would be made, Ala inna sahib al-zaman qad zahara. Verily the master of the time has appeared. This announcement will be heard by each and every human being on the face of this world. Irrespective of their language, everybody will be able to understand what is this announcement. Those who will be asleep, they will wake up when they hear that. Those who will be sitting, for example, will stand up. Means everyone, will be alerted that the zuhur and the appearance of the Imam has taken place. If you had looked at this hadith, 100 years ago, you might say, how is this going to happen? That there will be one announcement and the whole world will hear about it. With the advancement of man-made means of fast communication that we have now, this concept is not difficult to, understand and accept. If human beings can create, the communication means of announcing things on a global level, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. And this is where Jibrail's announcement will be heard all over the world. So this is the first specific sign which will happen in the month of Ramadan of that year, when the zuhur takes place. The second specific sign would be that before the zuhur of the Imam, there will be eclipse of lunar and solar will take place in the month of Ramadan, in one single month of Ramadan, but at unusual timings. Lunar and solar eclipse are natural phenomenon. Moon eclipse occurs between the 13th and 15th of the lunar calendar, whereas the sun eclipse happens between 28th and 38th of the lunar calendar. And so this is the norm. So you have the moon eclipse in the middle of the month, sun eclipse at the end of the month. But the extraordinary nature of this sign of the zuhur of the Imam will be that this eclipse will happen at opposite times, where the sun eclipse will happen in the middle of the lunar month and the lunar eclipse will happen at the end of that month. And this will be something very unprecedented and a miraculous sign. And the third one In that list is a Sayyid will appear from the area of Khurasan. Khurasan is the province which is now in the Iran, Afghanistan area. And a Sayyid will emerge from that area, and people will accept him as a leader, and they will pledge allegiance to him, and he will form a huge army. His army will be not stopped by anyone, and he will move towards Iraq to face the army of Sufyani, and we'll talk about Sufyani after this. And he will force the army of Sufyani to retreat from one town to another, all the way back to Iraq. However, in the final encounter, Sufyani's army will prevail, and the Sayyid from Khurasan will be forced to flee to Mecca, and he will seek refuge there until the appearance of the Imam happens. So let us go on now to the fourth specific signs, which is the emergence of Sufyani. Sufyani was a person, will be a person whose name would be Usman. And he will be from the descendants of Anbasa bin Abi Sufyan, from Ali Abi Sufyan. He will appear in Syria. He will be an open enemy of the Ahlul Bayt. He will gather an army in Syria, and basically he will send a force of 7,000 soldiers to Iraq, all the way to Kufa. Sayyid Khurasani's army will engage Sufyani's army and force it to retreat from one city to another. But as I said earlier, Khurasani's forces would be defeated. Sayyid Khurasani himself will flee to Hijaz, and Sufyani's army will pursue him all the way to Medina. There he will flee from Medina to Mecca, and this is where the Sufyani's army will pursue the Sayyid Khurasani. They will camp for resting in a desert between Medina and Mecca. And this is where another sign of Zuhur will happen. A voice from the sky will be heard, which will address the earth. O earth, destroy this tyrant's group. And as soon as this voice would be sounded, the earth will open up and the entire army of Sufyani will perish. Very similar to the way the army of Fir'aun perished through water. Sufyani himself will be in Damascus, and he will be killed later on near that city.